Hey, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Secrets to Real Estate Investing. We have with us a dynamic duo today that I'm very excited, and it's kind of fun that they're only about an hour away from me. Usually my interviewees are on the other side of the country. I mean, I've done Hawaii and Florida and Texas the last couple of weeks. These guys are in LA, and I'm just about an hour south of them, so it's kind of cool to have someone nearby. This is Jack Butala and Jill DeWitt. Gotta love that, Jack and Jill. So with that, welcome to the show, Jack and Jill.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you for having us. Pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm so excited to have you share some of your, I'm going to say, unconventional ways of doing business, because so far what we've been talking about before we hit the record button, it's a little different than what you hear out there from all of the gurus and then the trainings and things. So why don't you enlighten our listeners a little bit about your backgrounds and how you got to where you are today?
Absolutely. We started buying and selling land and houses in the 90s, late 90s. To date, we've flipped almost 16,000 pieces of property.
Wow.
And we're licensed providers. I guess this is our claim to fame. We are licensed providers for RealQuest Pro, CoreLogic, Agent Pro, Title Pro 24/7, and most recently DataTree, which is First American Title. So we know who owns every single piece of real estate on the planet.
Okay, so that's a little freaky, but okay. Yeah.
But so do our members. It's not.
That's
we don't hog
we
the
share it.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Well, tell us about when you first started, what you did, maybe if you remember your first deal and what got you excited about this business.
So I failed at buying and selling real estate for about a decade, and then I met Jill. No,
that would be great.
In fact, it's in our free ebook. I talk all about the first deal. You always remember your first deal, like the first girl. You always remember that. But the last one.
Thank you.
I purchased from Cincinnati or Pennsylvania. I can't remember now, but I used to live back east and worked as an accountant, and I purchased an 80-acre property in Arizona, I think for $8,000 or $10,000, and immediately resold it on eBay for twice as much by cleaning it up on the internet. I never went and saw the property or anything. I just put some cool maps, graphics, and all that, and doubled my money, and that was it. I was done. I mean, I said, if I could do it to myself, if I can do this one time, and I don't have to go to this silly accounting job any longer, sign me up. And so I did. I packed everything up and moved to Arizona and made a career out of it. Here we are still.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're kind of like in the giving backstage, Jill and I are.
Yeah.
We, Land Academy, we've made a ton of money doing this. And Land Academy is kind of our Land Investors. Land Academy is our way to give back.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's really cool. So you mentioned something about accounting. So were you an accountant before?
Yeah, I was a partner at KPMG. It was awful.
Oh, okay. I worked at Ernst & Young back in the last century. Yeah.
You're younger than I am.
Oh, not that much, but okay. Thank you. Thanks for thinking that. No, it's funny that occasionally I do run into CPAs turned investors that, I don't know, it's a lot more fun of a game, huh? Jill, what's your background? What did you do before this?
I want to hear this too.
Oh,
we should talk more.
We should talk more. Oh, it's funny is I got my feet wet. Like I was always in Southern California until the last several years, but I born and raised here, so I watched my dad, and he was a corporate pilot for a lot of investors, and then my dad started doing some investing, and I got the bug, and I worked for a couple of investors, but then I got the flying bug, so I went to American Airlines for many years, and then I met Jack here, and he basically figured out I could be an asset, I guess. I'm good on the phones. We joke that Jack's job is to make my phone ring, and then when the phone rings, then I close the deal, whether it's on the buy side or the sell side. That's my forte.
Yeah.
Because I've always done sales, like even with American Airlines, I was really in sales and behind the scenes admin stuff. So that's what I did before coming here.
All kidding aside, when Jill came on, the whole business changed because she added an element of sales to this that I never have. I've always just been buy it cheap and somebody will come and find it, and which works great, and it still works. But when you add, superstar career salesperson, it's better than it's better.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Jill does have a beautiful, smooth voice. I love
Thank
it.
you.
I'll buy and sell stuff from her on the phone too. No
Thank
problem.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, Holly knows too. You just know when you're a woman and you're calling, you're calling the county for things, or, you're talking to whoever as a woman and you're nice and pleasant to talk to, you can pretty much get any deal done. So you should use that. Anyone who has that ability and that you should use that.
We have
Yeah.
a podcast called Cash Flow from Land. It's actually gotten to be pretty big. And one of our most popular episodes is called Flirt to Convert,
Oh, yeah.
where Jill explains how to be a female salesperson. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Okay, I'm going to go download that today.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, okay, so that was your first deal. Tell us a little bit more about your path. And I mean, was it always just online stuff? Was it houses? Was it land? Was it both? So tell us more about the story.
Yeah, so for the vast majority of the deals that we've done, especially early on, were land. In fact, all of them. Recently, we've started to buy what we call and sell movie star ranches, like in Santa Barbara. So we'll go, and it happened because we went up there and stayed over this movie star's ranch. We stayed at her house one night, and we had a blast. But we drove back thinking, man, look at all this. There's really beautiful, like, where Michael Jackson lived in Santa Barbara. So we started buying those and selling those, and we buy them for $800,000 or $900,000, and they're worth like 1.8 or 2.2 or some number like that. We mark them up a couple $300,000, usually not as much. Our whole model is we want the person that we sell it to, that we wholesale it to make way more, so we have a buyer for life. And so we've done that several times recently up there.
And we don't do anything to them, too, Holly, which is interesting. Like
we don't even go see it.
We're the bird dogs. We go out, we find the deal,
Well
and
said.
then thank you, and give it to somebody else, and we make a little money off it. That's what we want to do. We want them, like Jack said, we want them to really kill it, and then when we have customers for life. That's
right.
It.
Love
we don't
it.
market it. We don't market anything anymore because we have a pretty serious list of cash buyers.
So you don't market it, but you just blast it out to your list, and then that's how you sell it, right?
Now we
know they come to us and say, this is the thing too. It's
they put an order in.
Yeah, that's right. They say, I need, like imagine a house flipper. They'll come to us and say, if I had 10 more of these 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and this
that's the sentence we're
subdivision,
for $140
I would kill it. Then we're like, done. We'll go get them for you, and then we don't even look at them, like Jack says.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They go look
wow.
at it. They either buy it or sell it. Mm-hmm. I mean, they either accept it or don't, and we don't shop it after that. We usually just say, all right, we just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Well, tell us more about your process. How do you get these? You say, okay, so a flipper comes to you and says, this is what I want. How do you find them, and how do you do that?
Look, here's exactly what happens. Since we do a lot of business in Scottsdale, in the area, we have an office there in the areas around Scottsdale. So I'll give you an exact conversation that I had recently, and it's been going on for years with one of our buyers whose name is Dennis. He says, man, if I had, any properties that were $125 a square foot, south of Camelback, west of the freeway, and on, and it gives us a pretty wide parameter. And so we utilize, I mentioned earlier, we're licensed providers of data. We send every single person who's logical there an offer. It's a full-blown offer with a number in it, when we're going to close, cash, the whole thing. And then we lightly explain, look, if you're interested in selling it, we're not, we're going to make this as easy as possible. You don't have to clean the garage out. Just don't do anything. Mm-hmm. If you want to sell it, we can make this happen in a week. So when you take the lenders and, all the people out of a real estate transaction except a buyer and a seller and an escrow person.
You're going to say realtor. I know you were, and you stopped yourself. And I'm a realtor. No, it's okay. I'm a flipper too. Realtors get in my way all the time. I get it. So I coach them and train them how not to get in the way all the time. So it's okay.
Good.
Well, this guy I was just talking about is a realtor too, but he only does it because he doesn't want to pay the sell side fees,
Okay.
You usually pay the 3%. There's no way around it, but that's just the way it is. That's a topic for a different show.
I'm going to take it a step further because we just decided, because we've been helping Holly and teaching Holly and providing the access to the data and kind of walking people through the process with our company Land Academy. But we isolated, there's a lot of people out there that they don't really need to know that much information. They don't really need how to do it that hard. So we just we just, not to plug offers to owners, but I'm going to say we just made it so easy. And it's funny because right now people are finding us just out of the blue.
Yeah.
We
Well,
now,
it's not out of the blue.
well, it's not out of the blue, but they're finding us. We just launched a company called Offers to Owners. And what it is someone can literally pick up the phone and say that. They can literally
put their order in
with
like
my staff, and my staff will download all the data. They'll say, okay, based on everything that you gave me, you want no mortgage, this size, this area, zoned this way, this square footage, this assessed value, dream it up, because we have it all. They could say, all right, that produced, 1,342 records. Do you want those? And they'll go, heck yeah. So we will immediately download, send them the data too, if they want. That's the perfect thing. And then they can look at it, massage it, scale it down, put their offer prices, feel it, whatever they want to do, and then send it back to us. And we even provide a template letter that we've used with much success. And we'll do the mail merge for them and put it in the mail. And all I have to do is go, wow, now all I got to do is wait for my phone to ring. I know I just blasted, because I scrubbed it down 1,000 people in the subdivision that I want to buy from. And they're all getting offers from me this week. Now all I gotta do is sit back and wait and let the phone ring, and it does. And that's the beauty of it.
Awesome.
Uh-oh.
We just lost you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Very streamlined, focused. That sounds a lot more productive than some of the people. I mean, I've never done direct mail myself. I get all my flips through networking, finding wholesalers and realtors with deals, and they sell them to me after the courthouse stuff's dried up. So anyway, the wholesalers I know will just blast out letters, I mean, sure they have their list, but they'll throw out 2,000, 5,000 a month, and it's just like so scattered. Where this one sounds like really focused and therefore probably more productive, and where they're getting stuff they want, right?
Well, Jack's up, if I may jump in. Jack's saying is get there first, which I firmly believe in. If you're getting a deal from somebody else, they got there first, and we want to get there first. And that's our whole point. And it's amazing until you try it, you don't realize how many people are sitting there with a paid off asset, and now the kids have moved out. And there's all kinds of different things that cause people, that trigger them to want to sell. And you just got to get a lot of offers out, and they will contact you. There's people next door right now that you don't even realize that, the kids are gone and the house is paid off, and gosh, they'd love to downsize and sell. And boy, they don't know what to do. And they think, oh, the garage is a mess. And boy, I don't want to remodel the kitchen. And boy, if you just get an offer to that right person, they're going to go, heck yeah. And they're going to call you.
We're looking for a situation, not necessarily looking at the real estate. I think I made that mistake for a lot of years. The asset really doesn't matter that much. What matters is the situation, like Jill just described.
Yeah, you're looking for problems, not properties. It's both, but people that have a situation that they need out of, and the money that you're offering them is going to solve it, right?
Right.
Now, 9 times out of 10, they're really thanking us. We're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. They know they're selling it for less than retail, and if they're upset about that, we won't do the deal.
Right.
We're there to just hand them a check, and because of that, it's a convenience fee.
Right.
It's less in retail.
It's like,
exactly.
I could sit with a realtor for 6 months and remodel and do this and have to be, open house ready for a long time, or I can take a check and cash out tomorrow. Let's think about that.
We went to a closing recently, and a woman after talking to Jill a few times on the phone, we were buying her assets, all of them. And she just hugged her and said, thank you so much. You just saved me like 3 months of my life trying to sell this stuff and go through the whole thing. And
I hope you make lots of money.
Yeah.
It was so cute. She was so appreciative because we were solving it. It was to help her daughter with her college stuff. We're like, this is great. So perfect.
Yeah, that is so wonderful. And it is, I like how you say convenience fee. It is. I mean, there's a price for everything, for someone's time, the stress involved, and they don't know how to find the contractors to fix the house. And they certainly can't find them for the half price rate that a flipper like me would get. So it's just a whole different opportunity. So tell me about, I mean, so that was an interesting story. Tell me about another deal you've done recently, if you wouldn't mind. And are you okay sharing with how much money you guys make on the deal? And
Sure.
yeah, tell us
oh,
more.
absolutely. So, I mean, the movie star ranches, we won't do one unless we make 100 grand. Usually it's more than that. Arizona houses, we have and we teach this. Choose a floor. You don't waste your time on when you get to that level. And all through your career, you should be choosing a floor that's higher and higher and higher. So for houses in Arizona, we will not do a deal unless we make 10 grand because it's so much cheaper than California. And we recently started buying. We just sent out a mailer in Los Angeles here in one specific neighborhood. It's a fairly large neighborhood, and the response that we're getting is unbelievable.
Right.
So we'll close probably 10 houses off of that one mailer. I think it was 4,200 units we sent out, and so we'll clear.
We're buying
those
them
are $50,000 to $80,000 profit margins for us each.
buying them for what, 500,000-600,000?
Yeah, that's about right.
And selling them for like 8. I mean, they could sell for 8. You know, we
We'll
won't
probably
mark them
go
up that
in.
much.
We're working with new renovators, we call them. We're the flippers, they're the renovators. So we really want to get that hook in there good. So we're not going to make as much on this round, but so far it's working out great. We have people call us. You know, we've been sending these mailers out since 2004. So every single day we get a mailer from somebody. Maybe their parents passed away and they're looking through the file and they said, "I got an offer back in 2008 or whatever. Do you still want to do this deal?" So we have a whole staff of people that close land deals like that.
But, especially at a 2008 price, huh? Wouldn't that be sweet?
Well, some of them I lower. Some of them we offered more than they're worth right now too. That can happen, you know, in different parts of the country.
Right.
And they know that when they call, they're like, "I know it was this." So you guys you're still here. Yay.
Yeah, the phone still works.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of the people back then are gone.
Yeah.
So, yep.
We had a person call us recently, less than a year ago. And Jill did the deal personally. We have a pretty large staff now, but he said, "Look, we're retired. My parents just passed away.
Oh, yeah.
My dad bought a bunch of properties." And I'm like, "Oh, no, here we go."
Yeah.
My dad bought a bunch of properties with you, and he talked highly of you guys. This was actually before Jill came on. And he said, so because of that, they own hotels and all kinds of stuff. He said, "We have a bunch of land." My dad collect land all over the country. He's like, "If you guys can just deed it to yourselves and handle the whole process and not charge us anything, you can have it all." And so Jill kicked in then with him, and they were best friends by the end of the deal. And we picked up. I mean, it's oceanfront property in Washington. Washington State.
Exactly. Yeah, that was awesome.
So my point in all this is not to toot our own horn, but it pays to just be a good business person and keep your word. And your reputation matters way more than I think a lot of people think. And in this space that we're in about academy guru, whatever, I hate that word, but I don't look at us like that. I mean, it's 3 times as important to really bring some credibility to the table when you're going to actually try to teach somebody something.
That's true. Have deals
and share the possibility.
Oh yeah, I just love it. That's a great story. And so explain to our listeners why that guy would have wanted to just deed the land over to you. Like, why wouldn't he be trying to sell it? Where's the value in that?
It's funny you bring that up. Jill and I, we live like 3 houses from the beach. And so there's all these houses that are on the Strand here in South Bay that are vacant. And Jill keeps saying, "What the heck is it with, these people must have." So my point is, it's all relative. These people had hotels and stuff. So the land and the value, he just didn't want to deal with it. And for whatever reason, I don't really know why.
To him.
But we have, then I started thinking, we have Scottsdale property that's completely vacant and just sitting there that we're too lazy to set it up for Airbnb and stuff. So it's all relative.
You get to that point where, you could have a $10 million beachfront asset and it's a line item on a spreadsheet because you're that, and that's who some of these people are. That's who this guy was. It was not worth his time. Like, because we, like Jack's just saying, we have this discussion. Gee, if we took some time and set up this home that's sitting there vacant and got it ready to rent out, we'd make an extra X a month. Is it worth our time? We both go, no. Seriously, nope. But yet somebody else is walking by going, "Look at this great property that's just sitting here empty," when they use it once in a while. That's really what it is. Yeah. So that's what it was for this guy. When you're at that level, you own hotels and things like that. For him to make an extra even $100,000 when it's all done, not worth his time. He makes
Yeah.
way more than that.
They had companies and still had, and he was just, were retired and driving around in an RV and stuff. He just did
Need
not
it off
want
their
to, he was
plates.
done. He didn't want to deal with it. Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
just make
because
it. I just need it out of my name. Get it. Yeah.
well, yeah, and there is responsibility with owning land. I think some people think, oh, you just own the land. No, you have taxes. And as a landowner, I know that cities and counties can come after you for, in Southern California, weed abatement. You have to get it done. The fire department will be like, hey, go clear your land, or we're going to do it ourselves and we're going to charge you. I mean, someone could get hurt and sue you. I mean, there is stress too associated with owning it. And then there is less stress to just give it to you and say, enjoy, thank you very much. Take it off my stress plate. So yeah, it's not like that there is no stress associated with owning things.
Exactly.
So I have a couple questions for you.
Oh.
How's this the pink hard hat thing working out?
Yeah.
You need something like that. Like
I do like
I was
that.
gonna put some like
Jill, you need to wear a cute little hat.
I should get one. Or something.
Like bunny ears would be good.
A bunny. Great. There we go. Let's start that rumor.
Oh, yeah. And so those of you listening, Jill is pretty hot. So
in a past life.
I can see her. I can see her.
Past life.
Thank you.
Right now.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, the pink hard hat, you'll see me, listeners, if you haven't ever seen me on Facebook, if you go find Hard Hat Holly on Facebook, you'll see me walking jobs and talking about different parts of the renovation, explaining things like what is a weep screed and lots of really glamorous stuff. But, you know, I like my nails to stay nice, so I don't do the work myself.
Good for you.
Even though my husband and I renovated our first home when we were first married way back in the day while I was pregnant. That was fun.
Oh,
but, you know, it's good to know a little bit about what you're doing, but I never recommend to people that have access to capital and good brain power to be the one putting their bodies in jeopardy doing the construction stuff. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what the pink hard hat's all about. Fun for branding. People remember me that way. Hard Hat Holly, and then, oh, I got a house to sell you. Great, bring it on over. So
I love it.
Tell us more about how are you doing, you mentioned you're doing this throughout the United States and even Canada. So are you employing the same strategy of finding out from a flipper what they want and then you blast out mailers to bring in what they want, or how are you doing business in other parts of the country?
We haven't done a transaction in Canada for quite some time, but I did a whole slew of them not like in the middle of my career, and they was all based on island property. So I would buy if it was an island, I would buy the island, or I would buy little cabins on the water. And so it sounds, you know, glamorous and the whole thing, but it's not. It's, you know, islands erode. So what was platted back in the day might be half left, and so you can buy. There's islands all over Canada. You can buy them really cheap. I mean, crazy cheap.
What's cheap? Give us
like
$5,000.
Wow. We just don't want to deal with it anymore. Not the house. The cabins are closer to 30 or 40, which is pretty cool. And you sell. We were doubling our money easily on that. But I'll tell you, doing a real estate deal in Canada is real different because all the tax structures involved in, you have to pay all the taxes in the escrow process. So if you dual escrow a cabin for 30 to 60, you got to pay your taxes right then. You have to pay taxes here on it. I mean, you have an accounting background, so it's a different situation. There's a lot of money that gets taken out of that net proceed when you do it. So I'm not knocking Canada. I'm from Detroit, so I've spent a lot of time in Canada. But it's just, there's just lower hanging fruit here. That's really what it comes down to.
And just to clarify for somebody that may not be understanding that, Jack is not talking about property taxes. We always deal with that even here in the United States in escrow. Income tax, capital gains taxes. So sounds like they just withhold it right there in escrow and that money's just like sucked out and gone, huh?
Yeah, it's even more difficult now that you have to have Canadian partners. There's a lot of restraint.
Okay. Well, tell us about what you're doing in other parts of the United States then that aren't LA.
Let's see. We love Florida. We for land, we deal in two basic types, like acreage, and then we deal with what I call vacation lots that are within a day's drive of a major city. So like Detroit's a good example. People in Chicago and in Detroit love to vacation in the upper Michigan because it's really beautiful up there. So they're not even info lots. They're just vacation lots that Craigslist is a great place to sell property like that because people, and they love terms. So they'll pay you a couple $1,000s down and $500 a month. Maybe they'll use it for 3 years, maybe 2 years, and then they just stop paying, and it is what it is. But we love vacation property like that over there. I don't know. There's not any real obscure East Coast property anymore that we do because we just don't need to.
Right.
I love the west of Mississippi.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Florida works great.
Especially California, Northern California. We're doing a lot in that area. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we're still land investors. That's our thing. That's still our business. We still do that. Yeah. And all the time, it's kind of always running in the background, and we don't talk about it a whole lot. Yeah. But, I mean, we do with our community because they're doing them too. So, and that's one of the reasons that we started, not only, you know, we had a lot of our buyers come to us saying, all right, listen, guys, you guys are buying it so cheap. I'm buying it from you. Yeah. I'm marking it up. And
that's
I'm
why
making money. That's how it all started. They're like,
our customers were, what the hell?
How are you buying it so cheap? So we started telling them and sharing it with them. And then we came to the point where like, well, there's only 2 of us back then. And at that time, you know, there's only so much of us to go around that can share this. So we invented Land Academy just to see if people liked it and wanted to know.
It took off.
And oh my goodness, we weren't, you know, what came back is awesome. And now we're able to help everybody out with data cheaper than anybody could do on their own and getting the mailers out and teach all that. And then in the very, very end, which has been our goal, we have created a really strong community of really good investors, and we're all doing bigger and awesome transactions together.
We all do deals together.
So that's the best part. They might need a little help with something that we have expertise in, or just cash, which we can provide. Yeah. So it works out great that we're all growing and doing.
As we roll along, the group's pretty big now. Mm-hmm. They tell us what the next product we're going to develop is. True. Like what they're telling us now is that they're all running out of money. So we set up. I have a group of people that are saying I've run out of money, acquisition money. They're doing great deals. Mm-hmm. They're just not selling as fast as they're buying. And I have another group of people saying I have no interest in learning this at all, but I have a ton of money. Mm-hmm. So we're going to release in like 2 weeks a website called landcrowdfund.com where those 2 people can go together and. No good acquisition should go to waste. That's one of my mottos too.
Exactly.
Very clever. I love that you're seeing a need and filling it. That's fantastic. Well, tell us more about like some of the actual deals that you've helped someone put together, and how many people are involved. Is it just you and 1 other, 2 others? You know, how does all that work?
Guy came to us recently with Jill and I are famous for being in love with any kind of mobile home lots because they sell immediately to retail sell. And a guy came to us after his first mailer. He's in New York City, actually. Mm-hmm. His name's Anwar, and said, I sent my first mailing out and he just hit it. You know, he closed his eyes and swung the bat and it went out of the park. Yeah. Like 280 properties. So we went down the path with him and ultimately helped him buy these and provided the expertise and the money and all the tools. We were going to take half of the deal, and in the end, Jill and I just said, you know what? Because some of our people, he was a shining star. This guy, he's gonna. I don't know. I have to connect. He's still a member, but it's really funny. Our most successful members need all this help in the beginning, and then we just never hear from them again.
Then they go dark
because they're off
doing deals,
retiring.
You're like, yeah, whatever, we got it.
That's this guy.
And then they come up for air when they're like, we have a big one you want in.
Right.
Or we need help with this one big one. That's usually what happens. You're right.
Jill likes big ones.
Yeah. Jack.
Whoa. Yeah. Big land deals.
Yeah, big land deals.
That's it. That's true. But we have, I was just going to say, so we did that with him. We were going down the path that we were splitting up the properties, but then it came to the point where like, all right, we would only make, it was something like $200,000. We're like, all right, is this even worth it? Because it was all this, and we're like, yeah, you take it. So, but I was just thinking about Claire. We have this one woman.
Yeah,
she's
a great example. Great example.
She's got a PhD in like, I don't know,
chemistry.
Something brainy like that. Stay-at-home
something
mom.
Brainy. Not real estate.
Not real estate. Something brainy. So no. So anyway, she came to us way back in the beginning, and she she started small and just was like buying properties for $1,000, selling them for $3,000, and then buying them for $5,000, selling them for $12,000.
Yep.
When they're worth like 20, kind of thing. And that's our motto: double your money and get out. You want it to be still way under what it's worth retail, and so it's going to move fast. That's the whole point. So she, again, one of the people, went dark for like months, and then she came up for talking. She came up with
She
some
said,
questions,
I'm out of property.
some stuff, but she said, I've totally transitioned. She, instead of doing, like has been we do like 100, we started doing this too. You could do $1,000 transactions, right? Or in 90 days or whatever, or you can do one big transaction in 6 months. So that's what she's doing. She's doing like 3 properties a year. She's like, you know what? I found I really like these better. These are properties where I'm going to make $50,000, $100,000 each transaction. They take longer to close, but I don't care. I'm only doing 3 a year. So she's making, $150,000, $200,000 a year doing 3 deals. And that's what Claire's doing. And she's in Northern California, but I think she still does the property up that way too. She really likes it.
Our whole business model is very data intensive. And we say up front to everyone, and I'll say it here on your show, if you don't like math and don't like spreadsheets, but love curtains and stuff and interior design, this approach is not for you.
Right.
It's very data driven.
Well, tell us more about that and the resources you have, as we're getting close to the end of our show here. So tell us about what you help people with, and go on with that.
So Land Academy has, based on American Express, it's got a green level membership, which is free, and then silver, gold, platinum, and black. Black is invite only, just like the American Express black card. We have about 6 members at the black level, and green is free, and gold and platinum are not, the tools aren't developed yet. So, but we have a lot of silver members. And with this level of membership, you get a bunch of the tools that we have that we charge the regular public, but you get them for free. And so one of there's 2 incredibly imperative points to our business model: access to data. And I don't mean a list. We don't ever use it, word ever. I mean access to the assessor's data. It's so important when you're pricing. Pricing is everything. And then actually getting it in the mail. So what we found out is that this was a bottleneck for a lot of people. They're good data people, but they just couldn't get it in the mail. So we aligned ourselves with a commercial printer, a B2B commercial printer in Arizona. And like Jill just said, we just opened, I think it's been open a month.
Yeah.
Offers to owners, where they can just call an 800 number. Anybody can call an 800 number, and we'll get the stuff in the mail for you really fast. We'll help you.
Okay, so
that's been crazy. The response to that's been unbelievable.
I know. It's really cool, the people that are finding us. So basically, Holly, at the end of the day, we can help the people who really, there's a lot of people out there that really want to hands-on know how to do this all themselves, and they want to learn the data. They want to learn how Jack picks a county and what's a good area, and what are the triggers, a neighborhood, and how do I get what kind of properties, based on my budget, what kind of property can I afford, and how do I make this all work? So we provide that, and which is interesting, we didn't even talk about that. We only started with Land Academy, and it was pretty much property. We thought we'd do that. Well, we know how to do houses. We know how to do apartment buildings. We know how to do commercial properties. We're even going into boats and airplanes and all that stuff too, because it all works. So we are actually in the process of tailoring all of our programs to whatever people want to buy, and we're going to come out with that in 2018, which is going to be really, really cool. So there might be, say you really are just a flipper, careless about land. I just need to know exactly what I need to know to do that. So we're going to come out with that, and just to help those people. Maybe it's a 4-plex apartments, whatever. We're going to help with all that. Then the other thing that we now provide, thanks to offers to owners, is, look, if you don't want to know how to do any of that, you want us to pull the data, you don't even want to really think about it. I mean, we could even kind of scrub your data down for you, and that's something that we're going into. I'm not going to price it for somebody, because I can't be that responsible, you know what I mean? But I can give you all of the data, how you want it, whatever you dream up, plus our sample letter, what works for us. You make it however you want it. We'll put it together and put it in the mail for you. So pretty much anybody can come to us now. I mean, just now, in the last few weeks, and we can help them.
An email from a guy over the weekend, which I shared with you.
Yeah.
This guy sent out, he did everything right. He watched our education and the whole thing, and he sent out 800 letters in an identified neighborhood. We call it a micro mailer. an identified neighborhood for houses, and he bought 4 houses.
And they're already sold.
He did everything right. He went and got 2. Actually, he went to hard money lenders. You know, for every hard money lender, they have like 19 flippers, right, that they work with. So they do all the work for you. So he went to the hard money lenders, got the flippers, and every deal's, you know, it's a dual escrow. He's not putting any money into it at all.
Exactly.
Awesome. I love a success story like that. That's
makes
fantastic.
It does.
It truly makes me proud. I get more out of that than doing a good real estate deal. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, we call it parental pride. That's our thing now, Holly. Whenever we get emails all the time, people going, "Oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe what I just did," and they're sharing with us their numbers and their story, and I'm like, that makes me feel so good. There's months that I go, geez, that guy just made more than we did last month, but hey, that happens.
That's happening a lot more.
Yeah. So like, you're doing what deals? I mean, these people are doing $1 million deals. I'm like, awesome.
Fearless.
So,
young and stupid.
It's good.
I love
it's parental pride. And we love it.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, tell people a little bit about, so for our free download for the show, Jack and Jill are generously giving us their ebook. I believe it's called The Cash Flow from Land. Is that right, guys? Tell us a little bit about that. Good.
It's our story.
Yeah, so that's my story about, you know, being 40 pounds overweight and smoking 2 packs a day. Being an incredibly lonely, unhappy accountant.
That's right, drinking to fall asleep. Just kidding.
Well, that still happens.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of the story of the first deal I did, and really moving to Arizona and really deal by deal taking it to where it needs to go.
Yeah. We also have a free online community too, Holly. It's called landinvestors.com. So it's a good place. If anybody really wants to find out more and they have any questions, jump in landinvestors.com and all of our members are there and it's all free. You can ask them any question.
And do deals with each other. It's all free. And it's like the Facebook of land. You know?
It's not like other sites where they go in and they, you know, if they don't like what you write, they take it down. We leave everything there. It's all real. It's very like, you can write our Jack and Jill a bunch of, you know, is this phony or what? And they do, and our people will weigh in.
There's no way this works.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys are crazy. This is not true.
Our most successful members all start out with that. What's the catch? There's no way this works.
That's it.
Come on. What's the real story?
The most skeptical people have been our most successful people, and we love it.
Yep.
So it's good.
Awesome. I just love your transparency, and that's just fantastic.
Thanks.
So landinvestors.com, and tell people the name of your podcast too.
It's called the Jack and Jill Show, Cash Flow from Land. Soon to be just the Jack and Jill Show.
Okay. They're about to launch a new one.
Yeah. So, in addition to, because we can't talk about land for like 7,000 episodes.
We've done pretty good for 580.
But we can talk about working with your significant other.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff to talk about there.
Yes. I think Holly knows something about that too.
I do. And so
well said.
Plenty of days I told my husband, I wish I could fire you today.
Yeah. But, we fired each other multiple times.
Oh, yes. Oh, and we quit often too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out. You're up.
Here's the truth of it. The truth of it is Jill and I work in separate buildings and separate zip codes.
With separate staff.
And separate everything.
And that works
separate
out well.
Zip codes even.
Yes,
okay. Only in a dense area, you know, would that happen, but whatever. Okay.
You know, it's not too far.
It's like 2 miles away, and I run certain companies and she runs certain companies. It's much better that way.
Exactly. We meet for lunch once a quarter. And that's about it.
Yeah.
and you meet up to podcast together, I see.
Oh, that's that we do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that found it challenging to work with my spouse.
Oh, it is.
I found it impossible, not challenging.
Thanks a lot.
I'd come work with you any day, Jill. We would knock it out of the park together.
I agree, Holly.
I know we would. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Who needs those guys? Yeah.
Exactly. We do just fine.
Yeah. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for everything. And listeners, I want to remind you that this is episode 74. So you can go to hardhatholly.com/74 to get all of the show notes, the contact information for these guys, their website, once again, landinvestors.com. Free way to connect with them and their community there. And you can also text to the number 38470. That's 38470 to get this download and all of our other ones. So thanks so much for listening. And Jack and Jill, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Holly.
Happy acquisitions.
Oh, thank you. I like that. Great sign off. Happy acquisitions.
Yep.
Hey there, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like it and click subscribe to get notified of more videos. And you can go to hardhatholly.com for a free download on secrets to finding great deals.